Hey guys, welcome back to my another video. In this video, I'm gonna do the update part. In the previous video, I added this the add talks. So basically, we can able to add a new talks in our tables now. So basically, if I add it, then submit, then it will show up here. But if it's click it here, then it doesn't do anything. But what we like to do here is whenever we click it here, then it's going to show up the dialog. And dialog, maybe we could able to update from there. Okay, so what we're going to do on this video is we're going to create that dialog. And I'm going to use a material dialog. So here is an example of it on this website, in material website. So I'm going to grab this API and I'm going to use this API. Okay, so let's go and do that. So the first thing I think this is on the home component. Yep, nope, it's not in home component. It's on the list controls here. So whenever we click it here, then we want to open a dialog, right? To do that, let me create one more component, the show component, which is inside the talks. Okay, so ng, where is it? So let me clear this first in my terminal and ng.generate.component. Let's generate a component call where inside the components folder, right? Components folder. Inside the task, let's generate a show. So this will allow us to show it. Okay. So let me go back to my the material websites here. So let me add this a module as well. So I'll copy these modules and I will go to my component.modules.ts, which I created the custom modules just to taking care of the all the material modules here. So I'm gonna add this guy here. Okay. Okay, I will paste it here and I'm gonna use this. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not even a materials modules, guys. So material modules is here inside the materials folder. So I'm gonna put it here and I'm gonna copy this and paste it here and paste it here as well. So now we could able to use this. And now let's see the example how we can use it. Okay, so here is the example. Okay, now it's already give me a error here. What was the error? The error was ng. Oh, I forgot G. So it's ngc. I need to forget a generate. So I need to type generate C component. Now I will can generate this. So while it's generating this, let me grab the example of it. So whenever we click it, it's gonna open like this, right? There are a couple of the examples here. Okay, so let me grab. Oh, okay, this one. Okay, so whenever we click it, right, whenever we click on dialog or open dialog, then this will open it here. This the dialog dot open, and we need to provide here the dialog element example dialog. It would be the dialog component that we wanted here. Okay, this would be a dialog component we wanted here. Okay, so now let's use this on our component. So now let me go back to my the component home component here. It looks like the talks already generate me a show component, which is good. Not home component, sorry, on the list component here on ts file. So on go to html. So this is the place where that's the list of these the talks that we are seeing here in our app. So where is it? I think this should be here. Right here is a list. So whenever this list will be clicked, so I need to put here the event. Okay, so the click event and on or go to uh, show component, right? Go to show component, or we can say that on open dialog. Okay, this would be the uh, this would be our our method we need to create, and I'm passing the task here. Okay, so once I save it, now I need to create a component here. Okay, so now let me see that I'm getting that talks or not. And basically that talks is here and it's I talks. Okay, so we will get a I talks. So now let's see that we can see this console or not. So I will go to inspect it and okay, in my console, I click this. Here it is. We see the data. and we see the title, type, description, everything, but we are just getting a ID. And whenever it's open the show, then we're gonna call the API over there. I think we can definitely pass this all the data as well, but we're not gonna do it. We're gonna call the API at the time of opening the model as well. So now we know this. So now let me open the dialog. Okay, so how we can open the dialog is basically, let me add, of course, is the same. The example is right here. We need to get this first dialog. So I'll put it here, and I need to get a material dialog. Okay, I am imported the material dialog here. So now, where is it? Now it's pretty straightforward. I can do. Oh, go back. It's straightforward, guys. We just need to follow what is being written here. Example. Go to the code, TS file, and here the open dialog. And yep, we could also pass the data that is going to be open, and it will also give me the close. So I'll just use this as. So whenever it's open, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass the ID as well. You know what? There is a data. So in data, I will just pass the whole object. I could pass everything there, but here I need to provide what is the component that is going to open. And the component that is going to open in dialog is a show component. So I just need to tell that, okay, show component, and that's it. And whenever dialog will close, then this function will trigger. But if dialog doesn't close, then yeah, it will open and send the data to task. So I'll just save it. And I just want to make sure that I created this component, but I just want to make sure that where is the show component is exist here or not. Okay, looks like show component is here, register, so which is good. So now, let me go back to my here. So whenever I click it, it's gonna open. Say that show works, right? Show works. Okay, so whenever dialog close, we get this too. So dialog is working perfectly fine, but we just need to add a couple of more HTML here on the show. So basically, we are editing the form. So basically, we're gonna use the exact same with the add. So I'll copy this form. You know what? I'll copy this everything, and I will put on the show and see how it looks like. Okay, but I know there is a couple of the things we need to provide, such as like tax form. So I will use exactly the same one here as a form builder. So you know what? I'm gonna copy the everything from here, and I'm gonna remove it later on. So yeah, I don't need a add tax, of course not. I just need up to here. So go to the show component and use exactly the same thing. And this is a show component. Okay, I need to input the form group, and I need to provide this and the form builder as well. Tax service, yep, needed. Router, no need router. And yep, validator is required. We want this. And yep, and we also want the type service, which is good. So now it has submit, has add task, but instead of add, we want the update task, right? That's what we need. So let me create that functions here, and that function need to be created here. Okay, let me create that function here, update. Okay, so now we don't have an issue here. So now let's see how it looks like. Okay, now it give me the error. Let me see. Okay, let's see the something is not right. Okay, let me fix what's the error is. Okay, guys, not sure what's really going on before. It's some wearing issue, but looks like the issue has been resolved. And whenever I click it now, it's going to open me a little pop-up here, the dialog, and in a dialog, it's allow me to add the form here, and it's basically it's asking me exact the same one. But what we really want is we don't want this to pop up to show up. Instead of this pop up, what we want is we want to modify the data, right? That's what we like to have it. Okay, so and also what we can do is on the list here on HTML, component.ts file. Here the width is been specified. We don't want to specify any width. So now if I refresh this, if I click it, now this is going to be my the edit, right, or the update part. So here I can show like it's a show task, right? So I'll just use as a show task, or instead of show, you know what, just provide as a task. And I need to go in this show that listed as here, and I need to put the math form field as 100% as well, or it's better to put this math form field in a global CSS, so it will affect on everyone, so I don't have to go in each and every component to update that CSS. So I will go to the style.css here, and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so now it will affect on each and every part of my the project here. So whenever I click it, now it's 100% perfectly fine. Here it's everything is good so far. I can add it here, and this is my description. You know what, for the description part, also the text area, so whenever they whoever put the text area in my project, then on style, I'll create a text area as a 250 as important as well. So I don't have to go and do it in each and component, right? You know what? I think it's kind of pretty big, the 250. So maybe do as 150 pixels. So let's see how 150 pixels looks like. So if I click it here, okay, it looks like better. So this is looks like at the t and when I click that the list, and let's see how it looks like at when I click that the add here. If I add, then okay, it looks good. So now I will go here, and this is how it looks like. So now what we want is whenever it's open, then we want to get that data too, right? So when we open that, then we will receive a data on this component here. We will receive the whenever we click it, whenever we click the list, it will open the model, but this model should this model is basically a show component, and show component should receive the ID from there. And how I can receive the ID from here, the constructor is the example is here in a constructor. They have something called the dependency injection for math dialog ref, which we can use it. So I will get use that one here, and I'll just put here the comma, and I'm going to import this couple of these things. And basically this here I need to provide here the show component, and I will need to import this. Yep, I need to import the inject from Angular core, and also the math dialog data, and here I will get the dialog data. Okay, I'm going to print it out in a console log to show you guys what data we are getting it. And basically the dialog data is basically nothing. It's we will get here itags. It's itags. Okay, it's a type of itags. So whenever the form will open it, then this ng on it will trigger it, and we will get that data here. So if I do console log and this dot data, right? Do whenever we click it, now we want to see the data. We already print the data, so it should come up. So let me check. So whenever I click it, okay, it doesn't come in. So now let me go to the my task show and show the TS file. I'm printing the data here. I'll just save this, and let's see. So if I click it, then here it is. The data will show up in a show component, and it's I'm getting that data, all the data. I can use this parse data, and I can put it on each and of component if I like, or I can also call the API by providing the only the ID. So let's call the API, because we might receive a more data in other cases, but here we only receive a few data, but let's call the API just in case. Okay, so to call the API, here is a show talks, show show talks. So I'll create this function as a show talks here. So here I'm going to call the service. Okay, so I haven't created the service yet, so I need to create the service. So it's a get talks by ID. Okay, so we can provide the ID from this data.id, and we're going to create this function. So we're going to declare a method. So here is declaring already, should be where here it is. here in it's declared here, so I'll put copy and I'll paste it somewhere here. So now I'm gonna use the get request here. So I'll copy this the get request, okay, and it's gonna return me it's gonna pass the ID, but it's gonna return me the observable of the iTags. Yep, it's going to return me only one. So this would be the thing. So instead of using this, I will use that one. So here now I need to concatenate with the ID. Okay. So I will use this string interpolation syntax here to get the ID. Now it's going to get the ID and it's going to return me the iTags, which is going to be my tags object. So once I get the tags here, so now I will receive a tags here. So now what we can do is we can subscribe this. So we could able to get that data and basically we'll get the iTags, right? And here is we're getting it, and if it's error then we should throw error as well. Okay, so we're gonna do a console error and we're going to throw as a error here. Okay, so once I save it, now this is how it looks like. So whenever we open this dialog, so basically this init will trigger and init will call this something called show tags. Okay, and I'm going to remove this now. So it will call the API and it's going to print it out here. So if I go it here, if I click it, then here it is. It's coming calling the APIs and APIs is getting it. If I show it here in network tab, so if I click it here, now it's calling the API and API will provide me a data, right? So once I have received the data, so now I need to put this the data in my this form. Okay, so I can view this data on a form itself. So how we can do that is basically the first thing is we need to get this dot tax form, and in the control we can assign it here. This is going to be title, and in title we can set the value. Okay, so set the value d dot title, right? D dot title is the form we are getting it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are four property that we want to set it up, and this is the type, and this is a due date, and this is a description. So I'll copy the description here, due date here. Everything looks good, but this due date is providing us as a string, right? So I need to provide the due date here. You know what, let me check what is providing d dot due date, and let me check to, yep, it is a date field. So let me try this. If this doesn't work like this, then I need to change this to date, and I need to provide to ISO string, because it's material will check the UTC. The material will check the UTC time zone, so we need to provide the UTC time zone for that one. Okay, so now let's see. So if I click it, so looks like due the, yep, is not even a function. So I need to convert this, guys. I need to convert this to date. So you know what? I'll put this the data that is coming to the date, and date will convert to the ISO to string. So now let's try that. So if I click it, so now here it is. It's converting. So if I go back, it's a May 1, February 18th. February 18th is converting here. So make it everything looks good to me. Everything is perfectly fine, and it's adding in our data. So we can see our data, and we could able to do update as well. So now let me go to my file here, and let me go to HTML file, and in HTML file let me change this to submit to update. Okay, so this will allow me to do update, and here we could also add a couple of more things. Okay, such as like a delete icon to delete this if we want to remove it, or or updated pencil. We can disable this if we like, or we can click on pencil. Maybe not, we don't want to do that work. Maybe we're just gonna put here the delete button, okay, for that one, just to make our life a little easier. So mat dot what, this is icon. Let me do the icon button. And for icon button, I want to put the color here. What would be the color in the material? Oh, control Z. I think in the material we could do a color here, and the color is a danger, no, one, right? Yep, one, of course. And we can provide here the click, and click, we want to remove it. Okay, we're gonna remove, we're gonna call a you know what, on delete, right? On delete task, and then we're gonna provide here what kind of task is going to delete it, right? So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a mat icon, which is a material icon, and material icon is going to be delete, delete, delete. So I'll save this. Of course, I don't have this function that's complaining here, so I'll just create that functions right here, on the bottom here. So I'll just create delete. So now let's see how it looks like. So if I refresh this page, then it looks like this. If I click it here, here it is. So now I need to add a couple of the CSS. You know what? So for a header, for this show component, I'll just save this here. For a header for a show component, let me add a display as a flex, right? And justify content is maybe the space between space between, so it will go yeah, side by side, right? Not side by side, but left and right, left and right. Okay, so here's the talks and here's the delete. If I click it, then it should remove it, right? Or you should ask the dialog again. You can do that too, or maybe I'll just remove it. So now this is fine, but my this is not even update, doesn't even work. So now I need to make that update to work. You know what, guys? I'm gonna put that update work on next videos, and this too. For now, I will just add it up to here, and I'm going to stop at this point for this video, and I'm gonna add this on next video. And thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you guys like it, and bye for now.